Othering Podcast explores the world of marginalized communities with a focus on the disabled and LGBTQ+. In our discussions, we will provide a platform for our guests to advocate and share their stories. By delving deep into their difficulties and successes, we will explore the changes necessary to improve lives everywhere. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the Othering Podcast with Mike and Dory.
Queer and ally fam, listen up. Whether you're searching for a queer-owned coffee shop, a queer-owned tattoo studio, or the coziest queer-owned bookshop, Everywhere is Queer has your back. Our free app connects you to over 17,300 queer-owned businesses worldwide. We have 26 different categories for you to filter between, and yes, we have an online queer-owned business section in-app. Our app is available globally on iOS and Android because safer spaces should be everywhere. And if you own a queer business, you'll apply it for free via the profile tab of our app. It is now more than ever, the queer, trans, and ally community knows where our safer spaces are, all while supporting queer entrepreneurs. Download Everywhere is Queer today, and let's build community together.
Hi. Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, today we are talking to Cara. She is a content creator, a lesbian, and a strong advocate for the LGBTQ+. Cara is married to a Cara and has a beautiful daughter. She came out at the age of 30, and from what I can tell, she is always the happiest person in the world. Yes. Welcome, Cara.
Yes, hi, welcome. Thank you. Not always the happiest person in the world, but okay.
On your Instagram and your videos, you're always happy.
And you just exude like a glow that just shows that happiness is truly, like, finding happiness is truly the answer to, being a good person. And it just, I can't get over your glow.
Oh, well, thank you. I do think there is a level of finding yourself and having that joy just exude from you when you feel like you know who you are and you're being who you are, like your most authentic self. I think that that's something it just radiates from people. In general.
That is so true. I mean, I just recently as I've told you, that I discovered I was bisexual and myself, and it took a while because I, just kind of, oh yeah, she's really hot, and oh, I wouldn't mind being with her type of thing, and I didn't think anything of it. Like, all of those thoughts would come in my head, and I would be like, I'd look at guys and I'd be like, oh, damn, he's hot. And I'd tap that ass, or I'd look at women, and I'm not trying to be sexist or something. And I'd be like, I would tap that ass too. But it never dawned on me that I was bisexual. I was thinking in terms of, stupidly thinking that, it's just me.
Right. You don't realize that that's like a sign of being queer. Like, you're like, oh, maybe everybody feels like this. I know that's how I thought a lot when I was younger. Like, everybody must think these things. Everybody must be attracted to the same sex in some sort of way, right? Like, it just did not make sense in my mind that it was like, no, heifer, you are a lesbian. Like, you have gotten it completely wrong for so long, and that is why you have struggled for so long.
Yes,
like,
and I honestly thought it was just like, growing up, I would be, it's because I'm trying to be, edgy or something like that, or make my female friends blush or things like that, is what I was thinking in my head. I wasn't thinking, wow, you're stupid. Why don't you understand that when people like other people, that means they like other people, and that you can, and it just didn't compute. It's like, nope.
And it looks so different for everybody. So I think that's why everybody struggles with it so much, because there's such a large spectrum up underneath the rainbow umbrella.
Yes.
So you don't really know, like, everybody's feelings around their feelings for the same or opposite sex are so fluid and different, and then there's no set in stone way that you have to be, or amount of attractiveness or whatever that has to happen to make you feel like more or less queer. So I think that's why people struggle a lot with coming to terms with it throughout their life.
Especially because you watch TV and you read magazines or newspapers or anything, and all of the queer couples are either 100% lesbian or, they're heteronormative. And they never, ever mention the possibility of being, bisexual or pansexual or anything like that. So, especially for me growing up, it was just like, well, you're either lesbian or you're gay. There is no in between.
Yeah. Yeah. Bisexuality and pansexuality was totally non existent, like not mentioned for the longest time because everybody looked at it as, well, I mean, pansexual didn't even really get talked about hardly any until I would say the last like 5, 10 years.
Yep.
And then bisexuality was so much like, oh, well, they're just confused. They just don't know what they want. It was like a lot of that
Yep.
that was going on and a lot of the bi erasure when that all you needed was that visibility and that no, like this is an actual thing. This can actually be who people are, and that representation was much needed.
Yes,
A
it
long
was.
time ago.
And I think I would have discovered myself a lot quicker had I seen the representation of the different, aspects, such as, all of these identities of disabilities and LGBTQ. They're always put in these special little boxes and never elaborated on that everything is different. It depends on the person. Because, like, I said, you see TV shows, and if they show lesbians, they're like both masculine, short hair, and jewelry and tattoos.
You're like, I don't relate.
Yeah,
I don't
and
relate.
I don't see this. I don't relate to this at all. And the few times that you did see bisexual women, they too were kind of along the lines of mask presenting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, it was like, I don't relate, so I must not be.
No, I totally get that because that was me growing up. All we had was Ellen and Rosie, right?
Yeah.
That was like our main two people, and I was like, I am not. There's no way that I'm a lesbian because I don't look like them. Like,
Right.
we're not the same. I don't carry myself the same. So like, that just must not be me, And that's where I lived in that space for the longest time because there was no representation. There was only these masked lesbians, and that was it. And that was like, well, okay, where are the femme girlies or where are the in-betweens? Like sometimes I'm very I go from film to a little bit more like androgynous sometimes with what I like to wear and how I like to look. And I just think that there really wasn't a lot of that back in the day. And
No.
that's why I struggled and I didn't come out till I was 30 because I was so much thinking like this couldn't possibly be me, right? Because I don't fit in this box over here.
Yeah, I don't.
And that's the only box I see.
And you don't have the short hair, you don't have the earrings and galore and the nose rings and all of these things that are supposed to be the stereotype. And so if you don't look like the stereotype, you can't possibly be anywhere close to that.
Yep,
And
I totally agree. And it was always this edgy vibe, right? That and I remember trying to even fit myself into that edgy vibe box. And I swear I just could not get there because I'm a corporate kind of girly. Like, I didn't even get like, I have 2 tattoos. No, technically I have 3 now. I forgot. I have 3 tattoos. And I don't have, but I had my belly button pierced for like 1 year and then took it out. And then I have my ears pierced and that's it. Like I just didn't fit into this edgy box that I was even trying to fit in. So then it was, you're looking at all these people and you're like, man, I'm not even cool enough to be gay. Like I can't even.
that's kind of how I felt, is that I don't even fit the cool level. How can I possibly be this way? I must be heterosexual.
Exactly. I have to just be this straight boring girl over here because I don't have anything else to offer.
Yeah, and for so long of my life, like before I got my tattoos and such, I felt like I had to be straight-laced, conservative, the specially coiffed hair, and if I didn't have it with the way it was supposed to, society says, look, and I felt so lost and just it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And when I started getting the tattoos, I started feeling like, oh my God, what is this feeling? And who is this
All I can hear
person?
is Wicked singing this.
Yes. And I would start getting kind of like giddy and feeling so good after each tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait a minute, is this life? Is this what it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
And I just like,
Me?
yeah. And I felt each time more and more like me, even though I have like some of the dorkiest tattoos. I mean, I even have my name tattooed as like the fish Dory.
Oh my
Because
God. No, I love that.
because
If
it's
you didn't
like
have a dory fish on you, I would feel like you didn't do yourself justice.
yeah, and it was like so exciting because that was the first time that my name was really out there because,
Oh,
I'm Dory, it's like it's popular overseas in
yeah.
Europe and stuff, but here it's like maybe one other person.
Yeah.
And so that was I think my third or fourth tattoo, and it just felt so good, and it felt like I'm being me.
Yeah. I
I
love
hid my
that.
tattoos for a long time, and when I finally didn't care anymore and let everyone know, it was very freeing. I know that's
Oh.
not quite the same as coming out, but
No, it is.
it's
It is kind
similar.
of similar though.
No, yeah, I do think that there's a leap there that happens with people
Mm-hmm.
that love getting tattoos, and then you have to decide, like, okay, I'm going to actually expose them now, and I think
Hmm.
that there is a transitional period in that exposure that's kind of allowing people to see into you a bit more and
Yeah.
get and like know you a bit more. And so it is scary. That is nerve wracking for, I mean, I think it's very, it can, I can see how that can relate to the coming out experience because you're exposing yourself on a whole other level,
Yes.
like that makes sense. Kara's actually been talking about getting a sleeve for a long time, and she just keeps talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And I just feel like it's definitely going to happen, and that's going to be a huge transition for her 'cause she has zero tattoos, none,
Yeah.
and she just has this pull to have a sleeve. And I really think that's going to be a massive form of her self-expression, her
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and a piece of her truest self coming forward and out of her. So I'm very excited for her to actually get it
It's
done.
exciting to
And
do that
Yes.
because it is like finally being able to express how you are inside and getting the
Yes.
inside and outside to match
Yes.
is so
mm-hmm.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And especially
Not a great one.
when you're an introvert and a really quiet person and you don't
Yeah.
talk a lot, so you don't really show
Yes.
yourself in other ways. When you do get the tattoos or whatever it is that you want, it makes a huge difference. Makes you feel more, I guess,
Alive.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes.
like you
Oh
can
my
be
God, I love
yourself.
that. Well,
And
she's an introvert to her core. So that is absolutely, I feel like, her inner self
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
trying to push outward and really give that authentic expression of who she really is.
Yes. And I feel like that's the best metaphor for when you come out, when you
Hmm.
as trans or any, bi, pan, any of those, is
Yeah.
that when you're inside, what you're feeling inside matches finally what you see, it
Yeah.
is the happiest ever. And
Yeah.
I feel like, I have to thank my therapist as well with this because she's kind of like when I said, "Wait a minute, could I possibly be bi?" She kind of gave me the look like, "Where the hell have you been?"
She's like, "Hello, Dory.
Yes.
Nice to meet you."
And it was awesome because I had to kind of talk through it and be like, I'm feeling all of these things. Could it be this? And the fact that it finally hit, I'm so much happier. I'm
Man, I love that. I love that for you. That's it. It truly is the best. I always say that pride means liberation to me.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like breathing for the first time when I
Yes.
finally accepted who I was and came out and was able to like speak the words and make it make sense to me. It was like I had breathed for the very first time in my life. And I find that experience of really knowing yourself the most freeing, and just there's no other feeling like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of support at the time?
No.
No.
I mean, I had support from friends, and then my sister was very much like, if you're gay, just say that. Like, it's okay. And I still was like, no, no, I'm not, because I had not told my parents. So I didn't want to tell my siblings and not tell my parents. But I mean, my parents really thought that it was just a phase, and it was just, they've been through it with me through so many different moments in my life. So they were just like, oh, whatever. Like, okay, Cara, like that's not who you really are. But I'm like, y'all really just don't know me though. Like, y'all have never taken the time to really get to know me as an individual. It's just who y'all have wanted me to be in this box y'all wanted to put me in. And I've tried to fit in that box for so long, and it literally took me to the lowest part of my life because I could not do it. I was just living this other person's life, it felt like, and it was not me. And it wasn't until I finally came out, and then there was a lot of arguments and struggles for the first, I would say, gosh, like 2 to 4 years between me and my parents. And then it seemed like I'd laid pretty strict ground rules when I first came out with them. Like, I was like, look, like, this is who I am. This is my life, and this is my realest self. So when I finally find a partner one day, I'm going to want to bring them to Thanksgiving and bring them to Christmas. And if that is not accepted, or if I feel like they are treated any differently, I will stop coming. Like, I will cut ties. Like, I want y'all to understand how serious that I am about this, because I'm no longer hiding who I am, because I've hidden for far too long, and it has put me in the deepest, darkest moments of my life. And I'm not going to do that anymore. So, fast forward, and this past year, I finally actually went no contact with my family. I still talk to my sister regularly, and I occasionally talk to my brother, but I have went no contact with the rest of my family because we had had so many different occurrences over the past 10 years since I came out, of the invalidation and the not truly accepting and just kind of tolerating, and then the celebrating of my siblings when they would go through life events with their partners. But then when it came to us getting engaged twice, and there was zero celebration and zero acknowledgement, and there was just kind of this, we're moving right along. That was kind of a big red flag for me, that I was like, okay, this has got to stop. I mean, we went 4 years in with me and Cara W being moms, and to finally I had to have this like massive blow up with my mother, because she would not acknowledge, well, neither of them, my mother or my father, would acknowledge Cara W as a mom. And it just kind of kept on going. And then finally I was like, are we not going to talk about the elephant in the room, that y'all will literally not tell her Happy Mother's Day or acknowledge her in any way as a mother, when she has been a mother for Mila for over 4 years? Like, this is getting a bit ridiculous. So, yeah, that's a long, very long-winded version of saying, yeah, it was not always received in the best way. And then not only that, even when it was tried to be received, it never quite got to where it needed to be. And it wasn't ever a, let me learn, how can I be better. It was a, oh, we're not down for all this stuff. So you just need to be thankful that we're tolerating that you're coming to our house, that you're getting to come to Thanksgiving, that you're getting to come to Christmas, and that we act like we're fine with it. And that's what you should just accept, how we are. And I'm like, actually, no. Actually, no. I'm not going to be doing that. Thank
No,
you very much.
I'm
I'll just
I'm
see my way out.
I'm
so
so
sorry
yeah.
for everything that's happened, but I do want to say that I'm, I guess, impressed by your
Strength.
strength to be able to do that and to stand up for yourself and what you believe like that. I know that's not easy at all, so I give you kudos for that, but I apologize that it had to come to that.
Yeah. I
Well, thank you.
My
I
heart
mean, it
breaks for
was. It's
that
been
because
difficult.
it doesn't make sense to me. You
Yeah.
have kids not to be a clone of yourself.
Yes.
You have kids
Yes.
because you want to share love.
Exactly. And I think so many parents miss that mark. They literally have kids and they have this idea in their mind of what their kid is going to be like, what they're going to do, how they're going to act. And when they come out being anything other like what they have in their mind, they are just thrown. And now
Yeah.
they don't know how to parent, which parent, can they even be a parent anymore? And it's just like, why did we ever get to a point in parenting where we said, I'm going to have a kid and they're going to be just like this?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a human being. They're
Yeah.
completely going to be their own person. You have no idea what you're stepping into. You could be
Yes.
going into parenting saying, hey, I'm about to bring another life of who I have no idea what this kid is going to be like. And I'm okay with whoever they are
Right.
Yes.
because that is their journey. I cannot force them to be who I want them to be or make them look like how I want them to look like or do the things that I want them to do. Like, that's just so it's the most illogical thinking in parenting that I've ever heard of, but it's crazy how much it actually happens.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I can understand having your hopes that, they'll live a happy life, that they'll be healthy, that,
Mhm.
things will be easier for them than it,
Yeah.
say, was the previous generation type of thoughts.
Yeah.
And I can understand, well, maybe they'll be a doctor or maybe they'll be a nurse or an entertainer or something like that. I can understand
Right.
having those thoughts because, it's
Yes.
natural to have those hopes and dreams for your kid to be,
Successful.
something successful, whatever they
Yes.
choose. But to
Yes.
then say, you're definitely going to do this.
Hmm.
You're,
Yep.
because I did it, so you're going to do it. Or I missed out on doing it, so you have to do it.
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense to me. And
Absolutely.
I can understand being upset for your kids when they come out because it's a hard life
Yeah.
Yeah.
of, non acceptance and things like that. But at the same
Yeah.
time, especially when you're of color,
Yeah.
like
Yes. Gosh.
when my child came out and they said that they were, non binary and trans and things like that, I grieved not because I felt like I was losing my child or anything. I grieved because of how harsh I know the world can
Mm.
be.
Mm. So,
And
so true.
my heart broke because I saw it as, I love the fact that you're going to be you, but
Yeah.
the world is just not ready for that. And that's what broke my heart, was just the
Hmm.
world not being ready.
Yeah,
Not,
I think your fear kicked in,
yeah,
the fear for your child. And that's, I think the difference is you can sit back and be like, oh man, I'm fearful for this, but I'm going to be there every step of the way.
yeah,
I unconditionally love you. I'm going to support you in every way that I can. How can I best support you? How can I help you navigate this time? Because what I won't be is your first bully.
right.
Right.
Exactly.
And
That's what I tried very hard to do. And I'm going to admit, I made mistakes.
Hmm.
yeah,
And part of it is also, I was still figuring out who the hell I was.
right.
So, I made mistakes with them and I apologize profusely for that, but I will show up no matter what they do. And, I'm going to be there. I will put my head on the chopping block if it means that my children are safe.
And you know what? It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not be the perfect parent. It's okay to
Yes.
not even have it all together. But owning that and then coming back and being like, you know what? I apologize. I will do better. And here's what I'm going to do better. Here's what I'm going to show you how I'm going to move forward and make changes, actionable item changes that you're going to be able to see right off the bat. And I mean, that's what I've asked of my parents, and that's what they've been unwilling to do, even in this process, even in this time. So since September, when I first went no contact, I've told them, a lot. We've went through so many different phases of I'm sorry's and I'm sorry's and I'm sorry's, but they're all just very surface level. I'm sorry, it's just to move on and get past it and make everybody quote unquote happy again, versus them coming back and saying, hey, we've really thought about this. Here's some actionable items. Here's what we know we've done wrong. We're going to start doing this moving forward to make things right, make things better. And that has just not been something they've been willing to do. And I think that that separates great parenting from just a parenting on, I need you to be on my page, on my level, and I need you to do the things that make it okay for me.
Yes.
It's still a very self-centered view of parenting.
Yes. And, we have to understand that parenting is more than just, hey, I popped you out.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Exactly.
And
So much more.
yeah, it's beyond just of course I tease my kids and saying, well, I dealt with being in the hospital, laid up for, days on end, weeks on end, so you owe me. And I don't mean it as literally they owe me, because I don't feel like they owe me anything.
Yeah.
No,
Children
of course
never
not.
owe their parents
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
I thank
Yep.
my parents for, giving birth to me. I thank them for what they did for me, but I don't
Right.
feel like any child should owe their parents
I
because we didn't
totally
ask to be
agree.
there.
Yeah, that's something that's been brought up here recently because of a lot of millennials go in no contact with their parents, and they're like, "Oh, but they deserve to have that. That you owe it to them to be present in their life." And you're like, "No, just because I gave them life does not mean that I deserve to be treated however they want to treat me, and for them to make me a shell of myself, for them to cause depression, anxiety, all of these things that can riddle a child because of toxic parenting. That just because they birthed me into this world does not mean that I owe them that. Just because
Right.
they raised
Right.
me does not mean that I owe them to give them my life. That is not even how parenting and child relationships should look like
No,
at all.
it
Not at
should
all.
not all look like that. And I'm truly heartbroken for you and various other people whose parents are just like, well, you didn't meet my standards, so go away. And because
Yeah.
I feel like that's the biggest bullshit ever.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because, I struggled to get my kids here. And so I view it as they are true gifts that
Yeah.
I got lucky to have, as
Yes.
opposed to, and maybe it's one of those things where because I had to struggle to get them here, or because I had to work so hard to get, what I got, that I appreciate it better than if it was just handed to me or something.
Absolutely.
It's just because you're a good human being.
Well, you have to say that,
Yeah.
but thank you.
No, I mean in general, anyone that feels that way, that's the way you should feel. It's because you're a good human being, and you don't hate people just because they're a little different.
I can't.
Absolutely.
I couldn't.
And it really just blows my mind that there are parents out there that think that exact thing. You're a little bit different, so no, I don't really love you as much as I love your other sibling, or I don't really understand you, so I'm gonna push you kind of over here to the corner, and just acknowledge you when I need to acknowledge you as a parent, but as far as building an actual relationship to get to know you as a human on your own, no thank you. Like they're just they isolate and they push away, and then they wonder why these same kids grow up and say, yeah, you handed me the scissors, so now I'm gonna cut this cord.
Yep.
Because that is ultimately what is happening. I mean, they're giving all these kids scissors after scissors after scissors, so
Yep.
many scissors, and then not expecting them to, when they finally grow a backbone and they finally realize when they're older, hey, like I don't really have to put up with this anymore, and this is actually quite toxic, and this is part of what has caused me so much turmoil in my life. Yeah, I'm done with this.
Yeah. And that's a good point that you bring up, is the fact that so many people fall down into, the rabbit hole of depression and such,
Yeah.
because when your insides don't match your outsides and you can't express yourself and you have to look a certain way or be a certain way, it just destroys your soul.
Gosh, yes, it does. I struggle with depression for so much of my life. I actually literally just posted today on TikTok a video that it's kind of a joke, but it's like, I will never, ever, ever, ever be depressed again. I will never be depressed again. I will always going to be slay, and I'm always going to be sexy. Anyways, it just kind of goes on and on. But I related it to the coming out experience because I was so depressed for so long, and I did not understand why. It made no sense. I felt like I was living a very privileged life. I didn't want for anything, I felt very, somewhat confident, and I just, I can't even put it into words. I just struggled. I struggled a lot. And mentally, I could not get it together. I would try to self harm. I just really, really, really struggled with depression a lot. And come to find out, it was all because I was not being authentically me. So once I came out, a lot of that, now not to say that it's just evaporated completely,
Right.
because I don't really think that there's a one a one quick pill cure for all of that.
If only.
Yeah, if only. But it did make me significantly more joyful within myself. I won't say happy because I feel like happy is kind of that fleeting feeling, but that joy inside of being me was something that nobody could take from me anymore. So
Right.
there was no more of that letting the world rip me apart piece by piece because I didn't know who I was. When I finally knew who I was, they couldn't take that from me anymore.
Yes.
So it gave me this inner peace that I had never ever had. So that part that depression would just eat at me and make me want to leave this earth did not exist anymore.
And that's beautifully stated.
Yeah.
Because that is 100% true that now that I've the right, therapist, because sometimes you got to find the right one. But finding the right therapist and finding out, who I am, it heals so much of what I thought was wrong with me. And, coming out and and I admit I haven't actually physically told my parents or my siblings, but they'll find out anyway.
They heard it on the podcast.
They'll find out
Yeah, they'll find out.
That's
But-
okay. It's your journey, not theirs. That's fine.
And I know that they're not going to just, ew, like, what's wrong with you or anything like that. Because that's just not how my immediate family is. And,
Awesome.
but saying the fact that once you figure out who you are, once you amass that feeling of this is what and who I am, literally nobody could take that away from you. It is so true.
So true. So true. It is like its own magical miracle medicine.
Yes.
In an internal way, inside of you. So I equate that so much to losing so much of that depressive mindset is figuring out who you actually are. And I think, that can apply to anything, whether that's finding your passion. Sometimes it's not even someone's coming out, but it's that they've been lost for so long because they really just don't know why they're here on this earth. And then they find that one thing that just seems to thread like that the thread to the earth, and that ties them down, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is what I was made to do. This is me. This is what I was meant for. And I think it helps heal them in so many different ways.
Yeah, and like I've said a zillion times, and I know I'm going to say a zillion times too, because I think it's an important thing that people understand is that being able to have this podcast, being able to share this with Mike and with all of you has healed me in ways that I don't think anything could ever heal me.
Wow.
Because you all have helped me figure out who I am, helped me find myself, and made me realize that there is not, even though it's like one of those things where there's not one way to do things, but because you don't see it, or you don't, specifically talk to people who say, hey, you don't have to do it this way.
Yeah.
It's like an abstract thought. And talking to you all has shown me and made me realize, and, put those two pieces together that, there's zillions of pathways, and that finding yours is so wonderful, joyful, and I am truly happier than I've ever been in my life that I can remember.
Oh, I love that for you. That just literally made me cry.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make you cry.
No, that's so beautiful. And I mean, it's so true. It can be just, it's literally finding the things that were meant for you.
Yeah,
And it's finding who you are as an individual, and that can come in so many different shapes and colors and ways, and it's such a beautiful thing to see somebody find that passion and that inner core self expression, like and just what actually was meant for them on this earth. And I love that so much.
and like I can remember being little and wanting to be, a doctor and a lawyer, and thinking that that's how I'll help people because I've always had, ever since I was like 3 or 4, this innate sense of I have to help people. I
Yeah.
have to do things to find a way to make people get their aha moments or, reach their goals and be healthier, things like that. And, life happened. And even though I did end up getting my doctorate, it was in education, which is no, nothing to sneeze at.
Right.
That
Gosh,
was
yeah. It's
that was
amazing
tough. And
accomplishment.
thank you. But it's like I still felt like there was something missing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've got the house, I've, what I wanted to do, and I've got the degrees that I wanted to have. And I still felt hollow. So I'm like thinking, well, maybe I need to go and do what I originally set out to, which was healthcare type of thing. And
Yeah.
then again, life happened. And we talked about doing this podcast. And this, I feel, is what I was meant to do. And I say all of this because even though I'm in my 40s, I'm 47, as long as you're alive, you will find what you need to do
Yes.
at some
Yes.
point in
Oh
your
my
life.
gosh, yes. I could not agree with that more. I think people constantly think, well, half my life is over, in my 50s or I'm in my 60s. Like I can't do anything about it now. Yes, you can.
Yes.
You're still breathing. You still have a pulse. You still have life to live. And what better way than to put the second half of your life as the most authentically you, filled with purpose, beautiful part of, I mean, that should be the part of your life where you are thriving.
Yes. And it's like, you hear all of those stories about, designers and such not finding their passion until their 40s,
Yeah.
or people not acting or singing until their 40s or 50s. And I thought that's so wonderful and that's so great, but you're supposed to know what you want early on in life because everybody
Yes.
says, well, what do you want to do from the time you start elementary school?
I know.
You just
I
started
know.
kindergarten. Now, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? Well, I don't know, finish school first. But that's not allowed to, you're not allowed to say those things. You feel like you're pressured into figuring out, well, I'm definitely going to do this. And when you sometimes do get there, we have to understand that that's not the end of your life.
Yeah. And it might not be everything you thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
because when you made that decision back when you were 10, how are you going to still make sure that you still feel that exact same way at the age of 35?
Right.
Like you've lived so much life in between. 25 years of life in between there can truly change a person drastically.
Yeah.
And I truly feel like I did not start living life till mid 30s. Like it was like 30s and 40s. Well, I mean, I just turned 40 this year, but like that's,
Congratulations.
I feel, thank you. I feel very much like I'm just now picking up
Yep.
momentum and really hitting my stride with who I am and living the one life that I have on this earth. I mean, at least that we know of.
Yes.
So that's kind of why I'm a huge advocate for any time that you can find your purpose, who you are, what you were meant to be and do and give back to this earth. Anytime.
Yeah.
There is no perfect timeline. There is no right timeline to be you. It can happen at any point.
And that's another important point you bring up is that there is no perfect timeline. There is no perfect time because, Mike and I did it backwards, quote unquote backwards. We met as, very late teens, and
Mm-hmm.
we got married, but we didn't have, graduate college yet, and we
Yeah.
didn't have the house with the picket fence and four
Yeah.
bedrooms and all that stuff that you're supposed to do. And
And we didn't have like solid jobs lined
yeah,
up and
and
Yeah.
everything.
but we knew that we were right for each other, and we knew that we wanted to be together. So
Yeah.
we did
Oh.
how we wanted,
Yeah.
and not to say that we didn't struggle. Of course we did. We grew
Yeah.
up together, basically,
Yeah.
and I think that now, even though we're in our 40s, that now we're actually hitting our stride, like you said. I feel like I'm actually younger now than I did when I was in my 20s. And
Yeah. Oh my
it's
gosh, that is
weird.
so relatable.
Yeah.
And I feel like people are saying like, oh, 30s are the new 20s and 40s are the new 30s. And I'm just like, I still feel young at heart. Like
Yeah.
my body will tell me you're not.
Yes.
You are not young. But my soul, my energy, my heart level, like it just feels, I don't know, like I'm still living. I've still got so much more life to live. I've still got so much more to do. Actually, a coworker of mine just told me when she first like met me and got to know me, she finally was like, "How old are you?" And I told her I was 40. She said, "You're lying." And I was like, "No, I am." And she said, "Girl, I would have swore you had just turned 30. The way you hop out of that car, the way you move around here." She's like, "You've got such a like sprightly energy to you."
Like I
And
said, you're
I'm
the
like,
happiest person in the world.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think it's just, it comes with, again, finding your true self, and like living your truest life and like being just authentic in this world
Yes.
just gives you a whole different level of energy. It gives you a whole new purpose in life. And so, like, that rejuvenating of that purpose and that life, it's literally like being reborn.
Yes.
So
And
And
it
I
almost
I
is like you're
think
still young,
I
you
think
know?
that's kind of like the true fountain of youth is when you find
Yes.
your purpose. It's like,
Yes.
because I swear, I feel like even though my body says you're in your 60s, I feel,
your body says you're in your 80s.
yeah, that too.
Sorry to break it to you.
That is
I feel
so accurate.
mentally, it is accurate. I feel mentally like I'm a kid again because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm seeing the world again, meeting the
Yes.
world again,
Oh
anew,
gosh, yeah.
because I am now feeling closer to who I should have been in the first place.
Yeah.
What you said earlier made me think of something. So you're a content creator. You have a
Yeah.
very large following on social media,
She's a celebrity.
pretty
Oh
much.
my gosh, stop it right now. Cut the cameras, cut the tape. That was, no, we're not.
So you
Sorry.
have thousands of people watching you every day, and I'm sure you get a lot of hate out of those people at times. I'm sure you get a lot of crap. How do you, I guess, deal with that and ignore that and continue to just be your best self and be happy?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, for a long time, it did take a toll on me. Like, I would constantly fight back and I would just be so angry, and it would really kind of fuel the fire in me to put more content out there, which I guess is a good, it's a good and a bad thing. It was good for representation purposes. It was bad because I would harbor that anger inside of me and I would just kind of carry it around, and it was almost like a shield for a long time, which was making me not so much of a happy, pleasant person because I was carrying the anger that I had towards all of these people that I don't even know that are literally just keyboard warriors, right?
Right.
And then finally I got to a place where I was like, I'm not gonna let this just fester within me anymore. Like, they can feel how they want to feel. I'm going to highlight the fact that there are still people in this way, and I do that a lot by just leaving the comments there. Unless they are absolutely just beyond atrocious, or they're really attacking somebody from my page, like from the audience, I will just leave them there because if you're attacking me, like whatever, like you can keep talking. I don't care. Like I will sometimes pin their comments just because I want people to understand this is why we have to keep showing up.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder why we have to have pride. You wonder why we have to be so loud. You wonder why I constantly talk about being a two mom family because of these because until these comments stop, we have to keep showing up. We
Mm-hmm.
have to keep being who we are out loud and proud because that's making that we're seeing that when we try to just live our lives, there are still people just coming and attacking us.
Sure.
And there's still certain areas you can't even go and exist to be gay in this world or you will die.
Yeah.
They
Right.
will literally kill you. So until that is not a thing anymore, which I don't know is ever going to happen because until you stop having religious cults, you're never going to stop having that true deep rooted hate. But until that's not going to happen anymore, we're going to have to keep being this way. But to answer your question, a lot of times I just don't even really read them anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
somebody had told me about going and looking at the comments from only the people that follow you. And crazily enough, I do have haters that follow me, which is so strange. But like they legit follow me just to put hate comments on my page. But you know what? I still allow them to do that because who knows? They could turn a they it may take years, but they may eventually be like, you know what? I've been hating her for no reason this whole time. Or maybe they're closeted. Maybe they are
Mm-hmm.
so deeply closeted. And so I do allow them the space for that growth because you never ever know. And the fact that you hit follow, there's got to be something within you deep rooted that says, I want to be here for a certain reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's something pulling me here. So who am I to like just rip that from you? You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to allow you to do that. You can keep putting whatever you want to on my videos, whatever. I really try not to harp on the negative, even though sometimes I do highlight it because again, I want people to understand why we're still doing what we do every single day. But I try not to let that be so heavy on me as I
Yes.
did previously. Like I try to just know that there's a piece of the world that is like this, but it is not the majority of the world. The majority of the world is not filled with hate. And I do not just walk out of my door every day and get hated on for being gay or for being two mom family or whatever. Yes, there are some people that might stare or might think whatever, but especially down here in the South, they're too
Yeah.
much Southern hospitality, quote unquote, that they have to be like, oh, we can't be outright bigots and racists and homophobes straight to their face. But I make this content for those people that they do like to hide behind a keyboard,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
And I
you
have
know,
to say, I lived in Texas as a kid, and you're right that a lot of them are just like, well, I can't be outwardly, but they
mhm.
kind of make sure you know.
Yeah,
And it's,
it's all in the
yeah,
eyes.
it's all in the eyes and
It's
the
all in
body.
the
It's in
eyes.
the body and the eyes. And I have to
Yes.
say that having been living up north and having lived down south, that the thing that I love about the South is that you know where you stand with people, and that as long as you don't bug them, they don't bother you.
Yeah.
They may not like you, they may not like your color or your orientation or whatever it is, but for the most part, they just kind of, hey, how's it
Ignore
going?
you.
You go your way, I'll go mine.
Yeah. No, we've noticed that a lot with Mala started swim this summer. And so we go and do these swim leagues and stuff here in our different communities, like around this community. And we have noticed that we don't so much like the swim community. Like it's actually very clicky and
Yes.
we don't feel truly accepted. We do, I mean, by our people, we're accepted, right? The people that we talk to and deal with in our neighborhood, and that's all great and wonderful. But when we go outside of that, and even outside of our close, neighbors right here, we don't really feel that super accepted, and so
Mm-hmm.
we can feel that. It's a feeling that you can get from people, especially in the South, because they will quickly not say anything to you, but you will notice their movement away. Like
Yep.
they quickly adjust their body language and their eyes to avert away from you. And you're just like, okay, noted.
Right.
We're not going to be on the same wavelength, and
And
that's okay. I would actually rather know than
yes,
not know,
I
because I don't
prefer
want to
Right.
that.
continue putting myself and my family in an unsafe space.
I prefer that than like I've noticed up north where it's like it's more like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then behind your back they're like, "Ew, gross, what's
Yeah.
wrong with you?" And so I do have to give props to the South that you tell it like it is. You tell us from the get-go, this isn't we're not going to be friends. We're not going to lovey-dovey on each other type of thing. But I respect you. Whereas it kind of feels like up north, a lot of times it's I don't respect you and I don't like you, but I'm gonna fake it till I make it
I
type
don't
of
know.
feeling.
Sometimes it's like that in the South too, though. They will constantly be like, "Oh, you're so, yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh, that's great." And then behind their friend, they're like, "Oh, bless their hearts,
Yes. Oh, the
bless their
dreaded bless
hearts."
your heart.
They're just two moms. And that poor child. I know she must struggle not having a dad, and I mean, girl, we've heard it all.
Yeah,
We've heard it all down
and
here.
I admit that that it probably is like that. It's just having grown up in so many different areas of this country, it's like night and day with
Yeah.
each area you go to.
Yeah, it
Like
is. I mean, the North and the South are two totally different beasts, and they have their issues in two different ways.
yep.
And they kind of handle social norms and everything like that two totally different ways.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
up here, if you say hi to neighbors, sometimes it's like, fuck you.
yeah,
How dare you look at me?
it's like, don't speak to me.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Whereas down south, it's like, hey, back. And,
Oh
we went to
yeah, if you don't
Wisconsin.
wave and say hey in the
Yeah.
South,
Oh,
you're
gosh.
odd.
Yeah.
Something is not normal with you. Whereas you go up north, you wave, they're like, "Who the hell are you talking to? Why are you looking at
Yeah,
me?
exactly.
Keep it pushing. Goodbye."
They think that you're some, person that just broke out of prison or something.
Yeah.
'Cause how dare you wave at me? Oh, my God.
Just come from the mental institute. What's
Yes.
happening with you?
And then there's like, the upper Midwest where like we went to Wisconsin once and oh my God, we got pulled over by the nicest cop ever. Do you know why we pulled you over? And you should be so careful and I hope you have the nicest day. And I was like, oh my
They're
God,
like,
what
"Are
the?
you okay? Are you
Yeah.
actually a cop?"
I wanted to say
Thanks.
that. I'm like, wait a minute. What is this? Is this the Twilight Zone?
You're like, "I feel like I'm coming over for tea. What's happening here?"
Exactly. And it's amazing the difference in people. And I bring all of this up because not only is it funny, but it's okay to be you in all of these instances. And even if they say fuck you or go to
Yeah.
hell or bless your heart, still be you. You know, don't it's easy to I know it's easier to say than to do.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep saying it though. Be yourself. We have to
Yeah.
be ourselves. We have to keep showing up because eventually those bless your hearts and fuck yous and all that stuff are going to be directed to the ones that are hating on you. And
Yeah.
they're going to be to protect you because you guys are like the best people I've ever met.
Oh.
And being different, being othered my whole life, I have never felt comfortable around people in certain situations except, truthfully, you all. And
I love that.
because you guys are like, I hate that it has to be this way, that we all open our arms for each other
Yeah.
because we know the pain of being othered
Yeah.
and being in pain and things like that and being ostracized just because we dare to not follow whatever the status quo is that day.
No, I totally agree. And I think that's why I struggle so much with like people within marginalized communities trying to advocate for the non marginalized communities or trying to enforce this. Like, to me, that's probably some of the most disgusting people that
Yes.
I could ever put my eyeballs on, because I'm just like, I don't understand how you could not understand the struggles of the marginalized community and try to be placed in a marginalized community, but want so badly to endorse what the non-marginalized communities are saying and doing, and how they are oppressing every single marginalized community.
Yeah.
I will never understand people within our own communities that do things like that. Like, it just makes no sense to me. And but I do think that that's also something beautiful about the marginalized communities that we do have, is that we do try to lift up every single person
Mm-hmm.
within our marginalized communities, all of
Yeah.
them, and
Yes.
collectively. I think that we do such a beautiful job of that. So yeah, I love that, like you said, being othered, it brings so much community and strength and love within ourselves. Like, I think it drowns out so much of the noise that comes from the non marginalized communities.
Yes. And like I mentioned, it's just, I grew up thinking that because I looked different from everybody and because I wasn't accepted by, both sides, that I am, that, well, I was just alone in the world,
Yeah.
and America hates me because I have the nerve to be born brown and things like
Yeah.
that. But I have to say, the one thing that social media got right is bringing us all together so that we all
Yes.
can finally see that we're not alone, that we're
Yes.
not that the term of we are the actual majority is true.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So true. And I think that so many people didn't realize that until the internet.
Yes,
Yeah.
Think of
because
how many, it blows my mind even thinking back to that point, because I mean, I
dial up.
think that the internet is what brought so much representation to people's lives and started
Yes,
making people realize, wait a minute, I'm not alone. And I think that that is such a beautiful thing about the internet, and also why we are seeing so many people find their truest selves later in life, because they did not have the access to people that actually felt like them and were showing, hey, you're not the only one, you're not alone, we have got you, there's actually a whole community of us out here. This is not, you are not having to do this by yourself, you are no longer having to be ostracized.
yes. And
And it's a beautiful thing.
it's very beautiful because being that person that's ostracized and thinking that it's the whole world against you,
Yeah.
and then finding people that are like, you know what, I love you, come on, and
Yeah.
let's be friends, let's be family, or things like that. And it's just like, holy shit, this is wonderful and you know joyful. And I used to hate those overly joyful people, not because I didn't understand why they were happy. It was because I always thought they were so damn annoying. But
Yes.
I find myself becoming that because
Yeah.
I am finding those people, and it heals me in so many ways, and it makes me smile more and I laugh more. And even, Mike can attest to this, that he sees that I am much happier now.
She is much more
Yeah.
pleasant.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
love that so much, though. And that is so true. Like, it is annoying when you're like growing up and you don't understand why you are the way that you are, and what's going on, and then you see all these people just frolicking about and you're like, well, it must be fucking nice to
yeah,
be whoever you woke up on the sunny sunshine bed of the day.
yeah,
But it's like, when you find your truth in yourself, you're like, I get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely get it now.
Yes. And I feel like frolicking and tiptoeing through the tulips,
Yeah.
all happy. And I
The
mean,
sun actually is shining
yes.
most
And
days.
it's like, and I get it because pride, I feel, to me, is much more than LGBTQ. It's pride in just everything about you, especially
Yes.
if,
Yes.
you
Oh my
have
gosh.
intersectionality of, color and
And
disabilities and, yeah,
womanhood and
womanhood and
yes.
all of that stuff. And I was angry. I may not have been like, the biggest sourpuss on the earth, but I was angry growing up. I
Yeah.
felt so betrayed by everything.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
I don't feel betrayed anymore. I feel like
Wow.
this is who I'm supposed to be now. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And holy shit, I am happy, but I am not going to be one of those people that says, you must have a smile all the time.
No, yeah, no, I'm not one of those people either. I'm definitely a more of you're still sometimes you just go through it.
Yeah.
And I mean, even recently, like all the heaviness that's happening in the world, um, I have had a hard time showing up online because it's heavy and
Yeah.
it's hard to just sit here and pretend that it's not or that something's not going on or that there's not a billion things weighing on my mind every single day and yet I'm just having to push through and continue to live life like that's rough. And
Yeah.
so I don't want to show up looking like everything's all sunshine and rainbows when it's not.
Yeah.
It's just not. And that's okay, and it's okay to not be okay for an extended period of time until
Yes.
you can feel okay again. I'm very much an advocate of that. Like, don't just try to show up acting like everything's peaches and cream constantly when it is sour milk and rotting apples.
Yes. And I wish we could feed that to certain people, but
Yes, same. Same, I do too.
and but it's just when you go through those things and it's very heavy. It's very depressing, but at the same time, I'm amazingly happy. And I
Yeah,
feel like being yourself, finding yourself, and being able to be happy and have those joyful moments is what's going to definitely help us keep going to
yeah,
the other side
yeah,
and get better, is because we have the strength
yeah.
to,
That's the growth.
yeah, to sit in the discomfort of what's going
Yeah,
on, but then still be able to laugh.
yeah,
And
yes.
if you can't
Couldn't
laugh
agree
at
more.
this at that moment, take it from us.
Yeah,
Take some of our happiness, take some of our laughter, so that you
right.
can then wake up the next day and say, fuck this shit, I'm gonna fight.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. That's what it takes. I mean, it takes that fuel from all areas to give you the strength to press on.
Yeah, and I think that we all have to show up. We have
Agreed.
to definitely be there for each other. And you know what? Even if you don't like being, who you are, you'll get there. You'll find
Yeah.
a way to get there. And
Yeah.
if you hate on us, that's on you.
Yep.
That's your prerogative if you want.
Yeah, that's a them problem. I've
Yes.
come to realize that a lot in growing up is that this doesn't have it's not a reflection of me. It is a reflection of who you are and how miserable your life is and how unhappy you truly are
Mm-hmm.
that you come to someone else's life, their page, their doorstep, whatever, and feel the need to spew hate or ugliness or you know racism, bigotry, whatever it is, onto them because you are so miserable
Mm-hmm.
within yourself. And I think that's another big thing that's taught me over time to not get so upset at people because, wow, how miserable must your life be
Yeah.
that you sit around trying to just tear someone else down?
And, if that's how you are, maybe find the right therapist. Find out why.
Right,
You're
right. Work
so,
that out in therapy.
yeah. And, leave the rest of us alone. And just, even if you don't like us, that's on you. Just live your life. Let us live ours. Do not obsess over what's under our clothes or,
Yeah.
what we do in the privacy of our bedrooms. Like
Yes.
one one that hasn't come out yet, I said, get some pornos or get a magazine or something if you're that curious.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Stop trying to just push all of that onto everybody else and your internal issues.
Yes.
in the form of hate. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been struck down, so, you'll be fine.
Right, exactly. You will live.
Yep. And we will continue to live too. And it's amazing at how, I guess it's like, my mom always said misery loves company. But
Yes.
I don't understand that because when I was unhappy, I didn't want company. I
Well,
just,
right,
But
but I think
company
a lot
found
of
you.
them are literally sitting in their basements, typing out feverishly on their little keyboards angrily at everything they see, or they're just sitting there by themselves, miserable at a job that they hate,
yeah,
and they're scrolling the internet and they're seeing these happy, peppy people. It's kind of like what we were talking about before. They see these happy people and they immediately are just turned off by that because, and it maybe it's not even that we're gay. That's the biggest ick for them. Maybe it's the fact that they're seeing such happiness and they're just like, ugh, I hate this so much. Stupid rainbow crew. They're just typing out mean, hateful comments because they just hate even seeing the smiles.
yes.
It's
And
not even so much about being gay.
I always kind of felt like it was some sort of jealousy because,
Yeah,
black
there's that
people
too.
are ostracized because we have overly curly hair, we have brown skin,
Yeah.
and then you see all of these people basically getting skin cancer to be brown
Yes.
and
Yes.
frying their hair to have curly hair. And
Yep.
even though racism
And
is
plumping their
irrational,
lips
yes,
up.
and ridiculously plumping their lips to where it's like, I don't even understand how you close your mouth. And, how do you use a straw when you have to use like the inside of your mouth?
Yeah. Yes.
And so even though it's irrational, it just kind of feels like there's a hint of jealousy to it.
Yeah.
And I feel
100%.
like with LGBTQ, because we have the audacity to dare live our happiness, our lives, and, show that you can be happy in this life,
Yeah.
then, it's a jealousy thing of what the hell's wrong with you? How dare you be happy when I'm not happy?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think there is an element of jealousy there that is causing people to attack other groups that they feel as though how dare you be happy when you look like that or you act like that or you are that, like how dare you exist and thrive in life, and I'm over here being the person that I feel like I'm supposed to be, and I'm miserable inside.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
just,
really sad.
it is very sad. And that's why I kind of keep mentioning, find your happiness and such, because I feel like it's a level of jealousy that becomes irrational.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's so true.
And
So
so
beyond true.
then you go through how dare you this, how dare you that. And it's not really the fact that we are different. And it's kind of like maybe they don't understand what they feel. And they
Yeah.
see that people are saying, well, you're not supposed to be black, or you're not supposed to be Hispanic, or you're not supposed to be a woman. So they just latch on to that to
Yeah.
then say,
Yeah.
well, see, that's why I'm unhappy. Because
Yeah.
those people have the audacity to be happy and smile and, tiptoe through the tulips with a banjo and
Yeah. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a level of irrationality. Like it makes no sense. They are beyond rational at that point. Like
Yeah.
it has reached a level of just this irrational thinking, and that has become their norm versus them sitting back and being like, maybe I need to find my inner self, my inner peace, my inner happiness. Now it's just constant irrational projecting onto these groups of people that don't deserve that. They don't deserve any of that hate
exactly.
just because you're miserable.
Right.
Right.
We just want to live like you do. We want to be able to have our slice of the pie, so to speak, just like you do.
Yeah.
And the fact that we can't seem to understand that together we could create that. I don't want to say utopia because that's not very good either. But, the Walt Disney World of life.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Minus that damn song where it's a small world after all, because that just drives me nuts. We could all come together and be happy, as opposed to letting them divide us by, well, you fit in this group and you fit in that group, and you're supposed to hate each other because you're different groups.
That's so true.
We are running out of time.
Yes. And I am so sorry that
Sorry.
I have no, don't be sorry. I've loved every second of it.
And thank you so much for joining us.
I am like totally fangirling and everything, because
Oh my gosh.
I love talking to you and, your DMs, and just, you're so bright and welcoming and just one of the most wonderful people I've ever met.
Oh, thank you. I mean, right back at you both. Thank you for all that y'all are doing. Like, giving a voice to so many is incredible. And even just y'all's own voices yourselves. Like, I could not be more appreciative to have the honor of like sitting here and talking with y'all and discussing all the different things. Like, this has truly been incredible. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'm tearing up again. Because, I mean, we don't do it for the accolades or anything like that. Not saying that it wouldn't make us happy, but we're doing it because we want to make that difference.
Well, y'all are. You're making that difference every single day, every single time. Y'all are making a tremendous difference and a humongous impact in this world. So I could not be more proud of y'all and to be on here with y'all. So thank you. Oh my gosh, stop crying.
I think that's the first tier of the podcast.
Not the first tears, but all of shit. And it shocks me, because growing up, I was one of those people that, like, I could watch those tearjerker movies and be like, okay, what's so upsetting? And now it's like I am constantly crying at things, and it's just like, what the hell? I've gone to girlhood.
Like, how have I turned into this?
Yes.
Sad.
Exactly. So thank you, and just immensely, from the bottom of my heart and soul, just thank you. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Please leave a rating for us wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Othering Podcast is brought to you by Loudcore Productions in conjunction with your support. Your host, Mike and Dory Morris, graphics by Joshua Morris, and join us next week on the Othering Podcast.